Welcome to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI, your home for the politically homeless, streaming live at KVI.com and the KVI app. If you want to be part of the most dangerous show on the airwaves, give us a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Coming up today, 2 chances to win fantabulous prizes, including concert tickets. And how bad are things going in Olympia? We'll tell you all about it. But before we get to any of that, time for your daily dose of adrenaline.
You want me to stick this into my heart? Are you f***ing nuts?
Well, as we speak right now, the Washington legislature is in session. And what are they doing? They are voting. Literally moments ago, they voted to pass the insane budget that only a drunk could come up with. Oh, sorry. Too soon? Was that a shot across the bow? Oh, no, he didn't. I'm going to need actual proof that they're not wasting our Oh, yeah. You know, there's an interesting poll out today. It's not scientific in any way, shape, or form. It's from Como News. Como News does these little polls when they're trying to do engagement on their website, asking the people of our area what they think of a certain issue. And they say, what do you think should be done about Representative Joe Fitzgibbon, the House Majority Leader Democrat, who was busted or admitted to being drunk in a committee hearing? There we go. And you know what they say we should do with this guy? Everybody says we should remove him. 71% say we should get rid of this dude. When I hear that song, I just think of the Brat Zuka over at the Seahawks game. That's when they start firing the Brat Zuka into the crowd. That thing's awesome. But yeah, they are moving forward with this insane budget. Should we highlight some items of this insane budget for everybody? You know what? Better than that. What are they spending money on? Well, our friends over at Doge Washington, it was nice to see them actually out at the State of the Union event, put a face to the social media account. Yes, it's a real person. No, it's not me. I do love that one where people think it's me. It is not me. So, while Democrats are breaking taxpayers with record tax hikes, they wrote, they gave $10,000 to a pole dancing studio in Renton last year. No joke, a pole dancing studio. Now, they have pictures on the website of this group, and let's say all body types are accepted down at this pole dancing studio. No, we're not doing that at the dance studio. That's at the dance studio. We go there after the after Kevin. Bad, Mr. KVI. $10,000 to a pole dancing studio. That's on top of the $4.3 million they spent on trans surgeries for convicted felons who are incarcerated in prison. That's on top of the thousands of dollars they have given to, I can't believe I have to say this again, to the self-service station for men so they can go. No, I don't know what they do there. For all I know, they do have shots there. I have no idea what they're doing there. But you know what I do know? The money for the men's self-service station and for the pole dancing studio, both came from the Arts Commission. You want to audit something in the Washington State Legislature? How about the Arts Commission? They have a very broad definition of art. I mean, I just think about that self-service station. I think of that line from Guardians of the Galaxy by Discount Mr. KVI, who says, you look at this place and it's like a Jackson Pollock painting in here. I mean, is that the art we're talking about? I'm saying all this so your kids don't understand what we're talking about. This is what they're wasting your money on. You know what they're not funding? They shot down an amendment for this today. To take the money from harm reduction, which just means giving addicts needles and crack pipes, and taking that money and actually spending it on something that worked, because don't forget, they cut the funding to the PIC. What's the PIC? The PIC is this location where they would take care of infants who were born addicted to drugs because their mother used drugs while they were pregnant with the kid. We had people calling the station crying who worked for that place or who volunteered for that place or who were first responders who took kids to that place knowing the kids could get better, and instead they're spending the money on failed items like harm reduction. Okay, we have a spending problem. We don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. or I should say the Democrats have a spending problem. They're spending like drunken legislatures. Think about this for a second. How many more businesses need to move? In the Seattle Times today, they listed another 6 restaurants closing in Seattle for all the usual reasons. How many more? Now, there's so much pressure about stopping the income tax. Some people start seeing a little hope on the horizon. I saw this letter today from H.D. Fowler Company. It's on their letterhead from Jed Fowler, who's their president and chairman. This is a guy who inherited this company from the generations of work that were done before him. This is a guy who testified for the income tax. Give a listen to what he said in the hearing.
My name is Jed Fowler, and I am someone who would pay the millionaire tax. And I'm here in support of 6346. I am the president of H.D. Fowler Company, a 4th-generation family business that employs over 400 Washingtonians across the state. Being in construction supply, the company, the employees, our customers flourish when there are 2 things: a robust middle class purchasing newly built homes and steady investment in our public infrastructure. My marginal tax rate is not on that list. Fixing our upside-down tax code, however, does drive that shared prosperity because investing in our communities is fundamentally pro-business. A business can only be as strong as the community it serves. It's better to grow the pie than to fight about slicing it. I'm willing to pay this tax. I should pay this tax. Others like me should pay this tax. And I urge you to pass 6346.
I love that he's wearing one of those union scarves. Clearly, this guy did not build the business. Clearly, this guy inherited the business. And probably, my guess is dad and grandfather were probably more conservative than this guy. Well, there was some reaction to his little testimony. He wrote this letter, which came out yesterday. To H.D. Fowler customers, early in February, I spoke on behalf of the proposed millionaire tax in Washington state. My advocacy came from a narrow point of view, my own. After several humbling and informative conversations with my team and our industry partners, I realized this apology is needed. I caused you to doubt the value of our relationship. I'm sorry for carelessly damaging that by being disconnected from your challenges and concerns. After discussions with my family and senior H.D. Fowler leadership, I am stepping down as chairman of H.D. Fowler Company, effective immediately. H.O.D. Fowler, Hod Fowler, will be stepping back in as chairman. I will report to Hod in my role as president. You mean dad's coming in to save your butt because you said something stupid and almost destroyed your company because probably your customers and even your employees said, are you stupid? If you want to pay this, you're welcome to go pay this, but this is going to be a tax on all of us. These actions will help me refocus my leadership on the foundation of H.D. Fowler, you. To affirm my commitment to supporting our industry as a whole, I am donating 9.9% of my salary this year to the political action committees of the Associated General Contractors of Washington and National Utility Contractors Association. I am also ending all public political advocacy. Because you open your mouth one time, and what happens? A whole bunch of people said, all right, you want to tax on us? We're taking our business to your competitor. This didn't stop the House from advancing this bill out of committee and to the floor, and they'll probably be voting on it over the weekend. Now, of course, today, while they were discussing this thing, they made allegations about fraud with regards to the people who signed up to oppose any of this. And once they were challenged on it, they couldn't actually prove it, and they backed down. But that's what Democrats do. Throw out ridiculous accusations, don't back them up, and then retreat when confronted with the actual facts. Are they actually listening to anything that anybody's writing? Well, here's a little brief montage put together by our friends over at Undivided of Monka Dingra and Senator Jamie Peterson and what they actually think of your input on their insane tax proposals.
Don't think everyone who's signing in support or opposition is actually reading the bill. So I think you got to take it for what it's worth. And it's not like we are making decisions not to pass a bill because of a sign-in. So we'll take it with a grain of salt. They're not really helping us make decisions. We rely on people who actually come and testify.
We don't, in that process, pay attention to people who sign in but not to testify. You just have to take it for what it was worth.
Uh-huh. You don't listen to the voters either. I remember voting for $30 car tabs. Haven't seen those anytime. Maybe you should listen to the business owners who are telling you they are leaving. How many business owners have we interviewed on the show? You remember when we had the guys from the tech world on the show? By the way, for those of you who think, oh, those guys from the tech world, now they changed their minds. As they said on the show, most people aren't even focused on voting because they're too busy running the company. They weren't involved in politics beforehand. You want to know what's fascinating to me? Those gentlemen we had on the show just a couple weeks ago, they're posting nonstop against this insane spending, against these insane taxes, against the insane regulations that are going to kill the tech industry. They haven't stopped. You want to know people who actually understand business? Como has this report on the business owners that are speaking out against all these taxes on businesses.
Washington voters have repeatedly rejected attempts at getting income taxes established here in the state of Washington. This bill, establishing one for millionaires, has passed out of the Senate, and now it heads over to the House. And folks in favor and opposing this idea lined up to give those House members an earful. The tax would impose a 9.9% levy on household earnings above $1 million a year. In exchange, small businesses would see tax breaks, and the sales tax on grooming and hygiene products would be eliminated. The state's Working Families Tax Credit would also see a boost in funding for low-income residents. Supporters say it would help fix the state's regressive tax structure. But there are lots of critics, including millionaire small business owners, who say if it passes, they'll be packing up and moving out.
There's no reason at all to start a business in Washington state anymore. Our hard work goes to wasted spending. My company is actively shifting our operations away from the state of Washington, and I'll leave as soon as I possibly can.
Since a lot of the people here are actually speaking on behalf of education, how about a lesson that I learned when I was in elementary school? If you give a mouse a cookie, he will want a glass of milk. If you give them a millionaire tax, they will want it on 500,000, 100,000, and then the rest of us.
That's the fear of a lot of the critics, that it would someday drop below that $1 million threshold. Legislators did hear from folks who liked the idea as well, including some who benefit from the services and tax credits the income tax would help expand.
What do they help expand? What do they help expand? Nothing. And in fact, none of it's coming for years because the income tax isn't going into place until 2029. By then, all the businesses will be gone. You know what? I realized I missed an opportunity. First of all, that was King 5. That wasn't Como News. Quick correction there. But I missed an opportunity. I should have gone down to Olympia to testify for the income tax. I totally should have done it. I really missed an opportunity. I should have gone down there and I should have said, you know, I'm actually in favor of this millionaire's tax because downtown is just too crowded. I want all the remaining businesses to be out of here so that way I have no traffic when I'm going to work. In fact, houses are too expensive, and because you guys won't change your zoning laws and your onerous regulations, the only way housing prices are going to come down is if so many people move and nobody wants to move in. Then housing prices will crash. And anybody who wants to afford a house around here will be able to do so. Man, I missed such an opportunity. I could have said, you know what? This is great for climate change. Great to solve it. Because since there's less people will be taking cars. Oh, wait, I forgot. By the way, they're not going to be riding your light rail either that you're spending all this money on. This could actually happen. You know what happened when they shut down the auto industry in Detroit? The city died. They were bulldozing neighborhoods in Detroit because people didn't want to be there anymore. Do you want to end up like Cleveland? Now, what they're trying to do, Turd Ferguson and crew, they're now calling for a sales tax holiday on a few little items. First of all, it's amazing to me they picked the same items that Republicans have been pushing for sales tax holidays on forever. But now he's trying to bribe you just like he did with the Climate Commitment Act. We're going to send you $200 so we can convince you that this money's going to you, and then the rest of your life we're going to be taking that money in gas prices. But you got $200. You got the free T-shirt. Isn't that great? Carly Johnson from the Center Square was asking the legislatures, the members of the legislature the other day, whether it's right that they propose bills that are constitutional, or are you just trying to push the envelope on this stuff that you're proposing to try to further an agenda? I actually do see a brief glimpse of Joe Fitzgibbons. He looks more put together, not on the sauce, you might say, as he's in this clip here.
So former Attorney General Rob McKenna has laid out why he thinks the income tax bill is unconstitutional several ways, but among those is the violation of the uniformity clause. So do legislators have a responsibility to propose bills that are constitutional, or is it your job to push that envelope?
So happily, the former Attorney General is not a member of the Supreme Court, and ultimately it's 9 people on the Supreme Court who are going to make the decision about whether it's constitutional or not. Look, there was a decision in 1933 by 5-4 majority at a time when the income tax, the idea of income tax in our country was only at the age of majority, 18 years since the federal income tax had started, when there was a lot of unsettledness about the nature of an income tax. In the law up to that time, there was an idea that there were essentially 2 kinds of taxes: property taxes, taxes on having something, owning it, and excise taxes, taxes on doing something, right?
Do people not own their income, though?
No, I think it is. No, they own the property. Once it has become income, this is not, if you think about it, I've been trying to think of good analogies to this. We sometimes have people who come into the United States, right, but they're not considered to have been in the United States because of the legal mechanism by which they got here, right?
What?
So there's a question about whether you're lawfully present. It's just an immigration idea. This is maybe makes sense only to lawyers, but income
sense
is
to
sort
nobody.
of it's this line at which somebody else's property becomes your property, right? That's income.
Hang on. Mr. KVI, I'm going to ask you this for a second. I just want to make sure I got this right. Before I get my paycheck every 2 weeks, the income, the money, belongs to KVI or Mr. Lotus. Then it gets transferred to my bank account through direct deposit. And then it becomes my property. Is there any gray area somewhere in there at any point? Is there something I'm missing here? Same thing happens with you, right? Is there some magical neutral zone between the Romulans and the Federation that this stuff goes into for a holding period of time?
I don't know what that all means.
Right, Star Wars, not Star Trek.
That's
right,
Star Trek.
yeah.
No. I like that he said, I'm trying to think of a good analogy, and then goes like the other direction of no analogy that makes sense at all.
So hang on. His analogy for this is, well, you know when somebody comes to the U.S. illegally, so they're in the country illegally, so they're not really a U.S. citizen. But what are they? What the hell does that even mean? You know what they're saying without saying? They want to get the Supreme Court to say your income is not your property. Well, then whose property is it? If I get the money for my salary and I stick it in my mattress, are they going to say, that's not yours? If I take it and invest it in real estate, are they going to say, that's not yours? Now, given some of the other insane rulings this court has done, I wouldn't put that past them. No, what they're really going for is, you don't need income. We'll give you the house. You don't need income. We'll give you the transportation. You don't need income to buy bread. We've got these wonderful lines you can stand in, and then you can have your income. This is how crazy they are. That was Jamie Peterson. He's the Senate Majority Leader for the Democrats. He is head of the Senate. And he is saying your income is not your income? What's in this magical world where we can tax it and take it and do whatever we want? You didn't build that Barack Obama style? Make no mistake about it. That's what this fight is about. They call it a millionaire's tax, and any time Republicans had offered amendments to keep it to millionaires, they say nope, which means they plan on taxing all of us. The Republicans are going to be fighting this all weekend long. But when I see you again on Monday, my friends, when I'm back in the studio on Monday, this is going to be headed for Bob Ferguson's desk, most likely. And when this thing heads for Bob Ferguson's desk, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about, well, this money that I now have to give the government is going to stripper lessons. This money that I have to give the government is going to self-service stations for men. This money that I have to give the government is going to trans surgeries for convicted felons. This money is going to alcohol for members of the legislature so they can get drunk in their offices and show up wasted to hearings. That's where this money is going to. The government here in Washington state, the Democrats are out of control. Completely out of control. You want to watch a social experiment? Watch how they kill a golden goose. Watch how they kill a state. Amazon, no longer the biggest land occupier. I decided to do that. No longer the biggest tenant in Seattle. I know they call him a land occupier. I saw the Divest SPD, the Chinese shill, the China shill, the guy who worked for the Chinese Communist government. What's his name? Justin Ward, that guy. He was excited that Amazon was moving. Yeah, we love empty buildings downtown. We can do our own reenactment of I Am Legend if we do this long enough. Great. Fantastic. I saw him celebrating this. You know, Microsoft also said they're stopping plans to expand. And remember, there was that fella who told me, Ari, Microsoft's not leaving. You are lying to people. Used to be a radio host here in this city years and years and years ago and is no longer a left-wing radio host. Had a first name. It doesn't matter. He got really mad at me about this. He used to do communications or something for Microsoft. What do you mean they're never going to do this? Oh, yeah. Kevin's going, who's he talking about right now? I'll tell you during the break who it was. But anywho, Microsoft's not expanding anymore. Why do you think that is? Why do you think there's all the tech layoffs? Democrats are killing Washington. You want to know what you do now? You melt the phone lines of Bob Ferguson's office. You melt the phone lines of the Democrats. And actually, there's a way to win from all this. After this goes into effect, we run against every single one of them just on this alone. And everything should be, they're spending this much money, X amount of billions of dollars, so they can spend this much money, $4.3 million on trans surgeries for convicted felons. That's how you win. And those of you who think we'll never win without voter ID, this is how you get everybody on your side because everybody wants to keep their salary, including those lunatics who have the purple hair working at Starbucks. Otherwise, they wouldn't be working at Starbucks. When we come back, my friends, lots more to discuss as the show continues, including a man in Seattle killed his mom because he said she was possessed by a demon. Tell you all about it when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Well, my friends, when you hear that kind of music, it means it's time to give away some fantabulous prizes. Today we are giving away two tickets to see Santana and the Doobie Brothers, August 6th at White River Amphitheater. Now, all you have to do is text the word I give you to the number I give you for your chance to win. Today's word, and only enter the word, not your name, not your phone number, not anything else, just the word itself, is brothers, as in Doobie Brothers, as in Blues Brothers, as in I have two brothers, BROTHERS. Text the word brothers to 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757.
You really don't know this song?
I've heard pieces of it before, but no, don't know this.
Okay.
Totally missing. Blank space. I know that song. Yeah, no, don't know this one at all. Don't know it at all.
Do you know Michael McDonald?
Yeah, I know that guy from 40-Year-Old Virgin, right? He's the guy on the TVs all the time.
Yeah.
I know who Michael
Doobie
McDonald is. Oh, was he?
Yeah.
So he went off and did his own solo gig after that?
I don't know if I don't know if he's in there currently. I don't know what the lineup is. So
He's still alive?
Oh, sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shows what I know. Okay. Yes, very different from our old morning show friends who knew this kind of stuff about music. This is not my jam, okay? Unless there's an electric guitar of some kind. I do not know who the band is. Switching gears over here to this story, which is absolutely insane. A man has been arrested in connection with the killing of his mother after deputies found her inside an Auburn condominium, according to court documents. Anthony Ton Lee was booked into jail for investigation of murder following the death of his mother. Well, she didn't just die. Somebody killed her. They responded around 2 p.m. to February 24th to a condominium on 34th Avenue South in Auburn after a 911 caller reported finding a woman unresponsive and possibly assaulted. They found her lying on the floor, wrapped in blankets with visible facial injuries. They entered through an unlocked door, located her with swollen eyes and blood coming out of her nose. They attempted life-saving measures, but she was pronounced dead at the scene. The condo owners told deputies that Lee had been diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder and had a history of violence when not taking his medication. They reported that Lee had stopped taking his prescribed medication about 5 months earlier and become increasingly hostile towards neighbors and his mother. According to investigators, the condo owner left for work around 1:30 a.m. that day with Ton resting on the couch and Lee believed to be in his bedroom. When he returned shortly after 1 p.m., he noticed blankets piled on the living room floor and discovered Ton underneath them. He then went to a neighbor's home to call 911 because he did not have a cell phone. Deputies established a perimeter, attempted to contact Lee, who did not respond. A tactical team entered the residence later that afternoon and found him in the bedroom, taking him into custody without incident. He was transported to SeaTac City Hall for questioning. During the recorded interview with detectives, Lee allegedly said he believed he had killed his mother after an argument about school and finances. Now, I saw all the news people reporting school and finances. And I said, I want to see these court documents. So I reached out to King County prosecutors. They do a good job sending us the documents. Got the documents. They all say this line about school and finances, but then when they questioned him, he said a demon from the TV possessed his mother, and he had to kill the demon by curb stomping the demon. That's what he said. I didn't want to hunt it. It was the devil. I mean, he curb stomped his own mother because he thought she was possessed by a demon. Then it says he wrapped the blankets around her, trying to save her life, but then said he heard her gurgling and gasping for air. Yeah, I don't think this was an argument about finances and school. This sounds like a person completely off their meds went and killed their mother. That's what it sounds like to me. By the way, that's one of several demon possession stories we have here on the show today. Beyond crazy. When we come back, my friends, more of your calls, more of your texts, plus also Bill Clinton testified today in the Epstein files. What did he say? We'll tell you all about it when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Speaking of rotten, slimy, and corrupt, Bill Clinton was testifying today, or giving testimony, being deposed about the Epstein files. And the Babylon Bee has just been great on this kind of stuff. It says, Hillary Clinton claims she hasn't seen Epstein since that time she killed him. Just like that. I'm sorry, wait, I have to do the disclaimer. I have no information that could lead to the arrest of the Clintons. I'm very happy with my life. I am not suicidal. I don't know anything about the Clintons at all, though at this point, I kind of wonder if Hillary's going to off Bill. So Bill Clinton testifies today, and right away, James Comer comes on out afterwards with a big announcement.
Making a statement here.
And President Clinton said, that's for you to decide. And the president went on to say that the president, Trump, has never said anything to me to make me think he was involved. And he meant with Epstein. So I know there's a lot of curiosity about President Trump. I thought that was an interesting thing that President Clinton said. So I'll let the Democrats have the podium and they can answer your questions. But we'll come back at the conclusion, the majority will, and we'll answer all your questions. Thank you.
So Clinton said he didn't think there was any real ties between Epstein and Trump. Trump did nothing nefarious. That's coming from Bill Clinton. From Bill Clinton, you crazy conspiracy lunatics. Now, can you actually take Bill Clinton at his word? And I think the left is ready to throw Bill Clinton under the bus. He released a whole statement today about how he had nothing to do with it and he never would have flown on Epstein's plane if he knew anything about it. Why did you need to fly on his plane? You're the former president of the United States. What are you doing on that guy's plane? You're the president of the United States. What are you doing on that guy's plane? We've all seen the pictures of Bill Clinton with the young ladies who aren't his wife. Okay, let's do this one for a second. I just have 3 pictures of Bill Clinton pulled up in front of me. All right. If I am in an airport lounge and some, 17-year-old girl is giving me a back rub, what do you think would happen if my wife saw that? What would she say? Because there's a picture of Bill Clinton getting a back rub from some blonde girl from Epstein's Island. Yeah, didn't know what was going on. Bill Clinton relaxing in Jeffrey Epstein's couch on his island, looking like he's having the time of his life. Looks way better than Joe Fitzgibbon after having a few drinks. Looks way better. Way, way, way better. The blue dress picture from Epstein's Island, him being in the flight logs multiple times. Can you trust anything Bill Clinton says at this point? No, I don't really think you can. So everybody on the right is going to go, see, Trump's off the hook. Trump's off the hook. But Bill Clinton, he still did all the things we know he did. We said he's lying. He's lying. This is the problem with all this. This is the problem with all of this. Notice the left has kind of backed away from the Epstein files. They just like to say, release the files. Well, they released the files. What more do you guys want at this point? This is just going to be a talking point for the left heading into the midterm elections. We go to the Warrior Injury Law studio line. Take a call from Ted in Gig Harbor. Ted, what's going on, man?
Are the legislators in this state immune to the taxes that they levy on the rest of us?
Well,
do they have some kind of a dodge?
They have a. Let me give you a dodge I know about. Some of these former legislators have gone on to very lucrative professions. I was about to say possessions. I'm still on the demon story. Some very lucrative professions, like Reuben Carlyle, who now makes money off the Climate Commitment Act, which he passed. So I guess at some point, if you have this much money, you don't care anymore, even though Reuben Carlyle is now opposed to the millionaire tax because now he's a millionaire. So do you think it's like a Nancy Pelosi situation? They have no problem raising taxes because they'll just buy more stocks or whatever?
Something. They have to have some kind of out because my understanding was some of those folks are fairly normal people as far as income goes, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're all wealthy enough to where, a couple bucks here and there. We'll figure out a workaround. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, here's the thing. They get ridiculous amounts of vacation time. What? They have to work for 2 months? Session 60 days. They have to work for 2 months in the legislature. Then they go back to their other jobs. I mean, what kind of dodges do they have? I'll have to do some investigating. I'll have to talk to some of my friends in the legislature. But yeah, they're taxing themselves. But the question is, are they offsetting those with other things? Ted, appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, you give us a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. This one over here from the 206, Redmond resident. lifelong Washingtonian, small business owner, single mom, leaving Washington for good in 1 month. That makes me sad. I understand why, but that makes me sad. Because that's one more person who leaves the state who could have been a vote the other way. Now, 206, do me a favor. Download the KVI app so you can listen to us the way I listen to New York City traffic reports and just laugh when I'm gone. So make sure you're listening on the KVI app or KVI.com or subscribe to the podcast when you're gone so you can see what you left behind. I mean, this is how bad it's going to be. Small business, large business, random people just going to move out of town. What was that last study we saw? 3/4 of Washingtonians have considered moving out of Washington state, have had the discussion of moving out of Washington state because things get so bad. Yeah, that's what we're looking at here. That's what we're looking at here. We go back to the Warrior Injury Law studio line, take a call from our friend Stilgar in Renton. Stilgar, what's going on?
Oh, well, I'm just trying to figure out a couple of things from this whole ostensible millionaires or billionaires or whatever they're trying to call it to make it palatable to pass. One, is this going to require a whole new bureaucracy? So is it really a bureaucrat full employment act or another one of those, or are they actually trying to gain revenue from it? But the other question is, how are they supposed to know any of this stuff? So now you're going to have all this intrusive questioning, like, oh, well, how much do you own? How much are you worth?
Right.
How much, where?
Oh, it's going to be worse than that. Stilgar, let me give you an example. I told the story at Stake of the Union, and I don't think I've told it on air yet, but I announced this at Stake of the Union because it was finally done at that point. Do you know the Washington Department of Revenue has been after my son for like a year now? Why? Because they said that my 21-year-old son, who doesn't live in this country anymore, that he owed $18,000 in capital gains taxes. He has no capital. He has no capital gains. He's in the Israeli army right now. And they said he owed $18,000 in capital gains taxes. Took me a while to settle this up with them, but I finally did. The kid has no capital. So how's that bureaucracy going to work out for a lot of people, right?
Well, where did they even come up with the idea?
Right.
That he had
where do they even get that from? Where do they even get information like that from? I file his taxes every single year. The kid doesn't have anything. I mean, he has money he earned while in college. he has money he earned while he was an intern here at KVI. How does this even happen?
So the less the government knows about me, the better.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that goes for all of the uber rich as well, and everybody on down. I mean, I don't want them up in my business. I don't want them up in my personhood. I don't want them up in my backside. I just want to, do my thing, be a constructive member of society, pay my fair share.
Yeah.
I mean, we do need some things like police and
sure, and roads and bridges.
And roads.
But here's the thing.
We don't need trains. I'll tell you that right now.
Right. Bob Ferguson has been on this whole kick recently. Turd Ferguson has been on this whole kick. Look at his social media where he's been talking about this county. Here's all the bridges that don't work. And I say to myself, you were the attorney general for years, and there was money that was supposed to be going to infrastructure. If it wasn't going to infrastructure, why didn't you and your 800 attorneys do anything about it? That's your job. So if things are in bad shape, why wasn't the money being spent on them when you were the attorney general? Stilgar, appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, give us a call or text at 206-421-5757. This one from the 360. Just a question. Do unrealized gains like my 401k and stock market portfolio count towards the millionaire tax if I'm over $1 million? Are they trying to take that part of my money too? Okay. Unrealized capital gains were part of this. I have to go and see what the final version is. I don't know if they still are. So 360, I'm going to do some research into that. Lots more to discuss as the show continues. Speaking of mega bucks, when we come back, major news of studio buyouts, and people who are former anchors of CNN and current employees of CNN are losing their minds. We'll tell you what's going on when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. So the left is having a complete meltdown, or at least the leftist media is. Why? Because Warner Brothers has agreed to be purchased by Paramount. So that's technically Warner Brothers Discovery has agreed to be purchased by Paramount Skydance for $110 billion. So it was going to be Netflix, which is kind of on the woker side. And now it's going to be Paramount with its evil corporate owner who's conservative. Well, what's owned by Warner Brothers that has the left all a blue skied? I can't say a Twitter. They're not on Twitter anymore. It's not even called Twitter anymore. What has them all upset? CNN is owned by Warner Bros. It's owned by Warner Bros. So now they're all petrified. What does this mean for CNN? Can it really get worse over at CNN? I will say is that CNN has had some moderate success recently with having panels where they feature conservatives. Our friend Batya Ungar Sargon is on all the time. Other people are on. And that's something I've been saying for years. If CNN went back to its old crossfire type shows and had the right and the left, you'd see more clips trending. And it seems like they have one show in prime time where they actually do that, and nobody knows what's on the rest of the day because nobody watches it at all. So it's great that they're doing that. You mean CNN might actually become more successful again? Perhaps if they do this, maybe they'll leave CNN alone. I mean, let's look at somebody like Sinclair Media for a second. Sinclair Media, big conservative ownership, big conglomerate, but they know what markets they're operating in. Nobody's going to call Como News right wing. Nobody says that about Como News. Those who do say it don't read Como News often enough. They may be more crime and blood and guts around here than anybody else. That doesn't make them more conservative.
But remember, when Sinclair took over, they did have to play a bunch of must runs.
Oh, this is before my time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was very controversial in a ton of markets. And I believe, last week tonight, with John Oliver, did a thing on the must runs that they made their stations run. And Seattle made it because they were burying them at like 4 a.m.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, by the way, I don't hear anybody talking about the fact that HBO is also going to be under that umbrella. And you know that John Oliver's got to be sweating. You know that Bill Maher's got to be sweating.
No, Bill Maher shouldn't be sweating. Bill Maher should not. If I was Bill Maher, I would not be sweating at all. I would not be. I really wouldn't be. You know why? He's the token okay liberal because he usually calls balls and strikes. Does he have a little bit of Trump derangement syndrome? Don't forget they met recently. They met recently.
I know. I'm just wondering,
I think Bill Maher, perfectly fine. John Oliver, does anybody watch his show?
I'm just wondering how expensive those shows are to create. And then it's like, well,
that's a different thing. Also, Bill Maher, don't forget, he's got his own podcast. He's got his own this. Are people watching Bill Maher? I see a lot of clips of the Bill Maher stuff, even stuff I don't agree with. I think Bill Maher's fine. I don't even remember that John Oliver was still on air. I completely forgot he was
and
still
he constantly makes fun of who is owning him at that time. So it went from Warner Brothers Discovery because it was HBO got, it's bounced back
they got
and forth.
bought and whatever,
AT&T, I think, had him for a minute.
So wait a second. Does this mean that Warner Brothers, which is now owned by Paramount, does this mean...
Well, it's going if it goes through.
If it goes through, right? If it gets approved. Oh, gee, is it going to get approved? I don't know.
I wonder,
Do they still own Six Flags? Does that mean all the amusement parks? Because don't they have the Warner Brothers licensing, or are they just licensing? Did they sell Six Flags a while ago? I have to go back and double check that. I have to go. But Harry Potter, that's Warner Brothers. J.K. Rowling is going to be owned by a conservative now. Oh no! They're going to completely freak out over this. In fact, CNN staffers are already freaking out over this. One CNN staffer told Status, an outlet I am not familiar with, "We are doomed. We are blanked." I can't say that word on air. Everybody is reeling about the obvious things. The panic at CNN right now is off the charts. Yeah, it should be. You know why? The truth is, it should have been off the charts a while ago because nobody watches your stupid shows, except for occasionally, when you have some interesting back and forth, and then we all enjoy it, right? That's about the only time you do it. Oh, you got an update on Six Flags.
I do. It is not. Warner Brothers owned it back in, it looked like they got rid of it in 98.
So they sold the Six Flags.
It's an independent company now.
Gotcha. Okay. So they don't own them. They just license their stuff out to the Six Flags. Here's something else. Harry Potter Land is at Universal. Universal licenses the Harry Potter stuff. So now, who are the big major studios that are left? You've got Paramount, which now owns Warner Bros.
Yeah.
You've got Universal. Netflix is still in the internet land. They don't own anybody else. Amazon now owns MGM. Is that it? Oh, and Disney.
Yeah,
of course, Disney.
Which owns 20th Century Fox or whatever.
That's it. So the question is Netflix going to get bought by somebody, or is Netflix going to do the buying of Universal, or are they too big a conglomerate for them? Universal's also NBC, Peacock, all that. I don't know.
Is that still part of like Comcast?
It is
well?
Comcast.
Okay.
It's all part of one big thing. Does that mean that's Netflix's next big try to get into this world, to get more legit, as they would say? Do you even need to do something like that? And they get the theme parks. They get the 2 Universal Studios theme parks. Yeah, the CNN staffers are completely freaking out. And you know what? You should be freaking out because nobody watches your shows anymore. What do you think? Do you approve of this? Do you disapprove of this? I love that the left, the politicians are like, your streaming prices are going to go up. Because you're going to tax them? Because why? I mean, I'll say this for them. I canceled Comcast's TV service when I realized how much I was paying for all the streaming channels and realized, okay, I'm basically double paying for TV. I've got all my streaming and I've got my TV. If I subscribe to Sling or something like that, I can have my actual TV and then I'll be actually half the price because I'll have all my streaming platforms. How often do I watch any of those streaming platforms anymore? It's rare. Really, really rare. I know the only reason we got the one where you can actually flip channels is because my wife loves her Bravo shows, and she wants to be able to watch those the night they came out. That is why we still have any of those things at all. Aside from that, nobody else watches TV in my house. Also, there's nobody in my house. My boys are out of the house. I just got my daughter left. Do you think my teenage daughter is flipping through channels? They don't do that.
Yeah, I was going to say anyone younger than us is staring at their phone.
Right. What did we do back in the day? Oh, I want the biggest TV possible with the best surround sound and the subwoofer. Oh, you got 5.1? I got 6.1. I got 7.3. That's what I got all this stuff. It's incredible.
I've got a laser disc
there
player.
You go.
That's got Dolby Digital.
Yeah. I got Betamax. No, I got a Blu-ray. Oh, you got a Blu-ray? I got HD DVD. Oh, I got the surround sound. And now, how often are we just watching things on our phones? Teenagers are watching things on their phones, right?
I still can't stand watching stuff on my
phone.
Oh,
no, I hate
can't
it.
Stand
I hate it. I don't like doing it, but, I mean, that's the way it's headed, which is a little ridiculous now when you think about it. So, anywho, do you think this is a good thing? Do you think this is a bad thing? This one here from the 253 from Denise. She says, Ari, you just said at CNN they are losing their minds. That ship has already sailed. Very good, Denise. Very, very good. So true. This one here from the 253. Sad to say, I'm 68. We're gone to Arizona where I can get a house for half the price of mine here. Only drawback is they have a really crummy football team down here. Peace out. Oh, well, you know what? We may not have a football team down the road. For all you know, the Seahawks might end up closer to you. Oh, dear. This one here. It says that, oh, no, I can't read that on air. You people send me these Epstein jokes. I can't read that on air. This is how you know this is real time. I'm reading your texts. Oh, no, I can't read any of your Bill Clinton jokes either. You guys are funny. Oh, wait, here we go. Mike McDonald legislation. I got some of that. Ari, Mike McDonald destroyed the Doobie Brothers. That awful airport lounge voice of his killed a great rock band. I cringe when I hear that terrible voice.
How dare you? How dare you?
Here's another one. Michael McDonald was also a successful solo artist when the Doobie Brothers reached out to him. That band has a really interesting story, but you would definitely not think so from their music. Okay, I mean, yeah.
What do we got? Casey Kasem on here? From the grave sending texts?
That's kind of what this sounds like.
That's the Doobie Brothers.
And that's the top 10. That's the second time his name has come up this week. The second time. I haven't thought about that dude in years, and that's the second time it came up. Lots more to discuss as the show continues, my friends. When we come back, are we going to war with Iran this weekend? Live updates from my son in Israel. Well, okay, maybe not live, but I spoke to him this morning. We'll tell you what's going on. We come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Welcome to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI, your home for the politically homeless, streaming live at KVI.com and the KVI app. If you want to be part of the most dangerous show on the airwaves, call or text the Warrior Injury Law Studio line at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Coming up today at 4:30, Brandy Cruz joins us to give us all the details on the latest insanity out of the legislature. But before we get to any of that, my friends, are we going to war with Iran this weekend? I spoke to my son last night, who's in the Israeli Defense Forces, and he says, I don't know. He has no idea. Now, a lot of you are probably saying, why should we go to war with Iran at all? I got a video from a friend of mine in Israel this morning. He's driving past Ben Gurion Airport. Ben Gurion Airport is their main passenger airport. And it looks like a military base right now because it's U.S. tanker after tanker after tanker after tanker after tanker after tanker. There's a row of them on the ground at Ben Gurion Airport. Now, my thing has always been, why do we have military bases in countries that hate us, like Qatar, even though they're trying to be nice right now with Donald Trump, rather than have them in Israel who actually likes us, especially because we do a lot of intelligence sharing and they buy a lot of weapons from us. That makes a lot more sense. But a lot of people are not happy about the U.S. possibly getting involved in this. Okay, can we break this down for a second? Let's do this. Let's go over realistically, does Iran pose a threat to the United States? And the answer is 100% yes. Their ambitions for a nuclear weapon, they have been very, very clear that they want to use it against the United States. They want to use it against our allies like Israel. They say it out loud. And when your enemies tell you what their plans are, listen to them. Iran is the number one state sponsor of terror. October 7th happened because of Iran. Many other attacks specifically on the U.S. have happened because of Iran. So if they give terrorist groups like Hamas, like the Houthi rebels who were attacking our ships in the Red Sea, like Hezbollah that bombed our Marine barracks and killed hundreds of our service members, if they will do that, what will they do with a nuclear weapon? It's that simple. Now, from a historical perspective, what have we ever really done against Iran? Sanctions, sanctions, sanctions. We've destroyed their economy. And what we say is, look, you want to be part of the world, just stop your nuclear program and join the rest of the world. In fact, all the U.S. is asking for them in these negotiations that just fell apart was stop your nuclear ambitions. Didn't even say no to their ballistic missiles. Stop developing a nuclear weapon, ship all the uranium you have out of country, and we have a deal. And they wouldn't even do that. I see some people on the left are really ignorant of history. They say, oh, President Trump's just trying to get a worse version of the Iran deal than Barack Obama had. Do you know what Barack Obama's plan for the Iran deal was? Let's pay them not to not to develop a nuclear weapon. And guess what? They used the money to fund terror and develop a nuclear weapon. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had the places for us to bomb. Fast forward to October 7th, 2023. Iranian proxies are the ones that all attacked Israel and in the process killed 44 Americans. They also started attacking American shipping and our ally shipping in the Red Sea. They are a problem. They are a huge problem. They are a deadly problem. They are a danger to the U.S. and its allies. Who took care of that problem? Did Joe Biden sell weapons to Israel? Absolutely. Could he have cut them off? Absolutely, he didn't. So give him a little credit there. But then again, he's the one who refunded Iran after Trump stopped funding them when he was president the first time. Joe Biden also funded the Palestinian Authority, which has the Pay for Slay program, which funds Hamas and rewards terrorists for killing people. So what's going on right now? Israel's fighting a 7-front war, managed to defeat the Iranian proxies. Does that with the U.S. supplying weapons, but no actual blood or treasure from the U.S. The money that the U.S. gives to Israel, Israel pays back in weapons payments and other ammunition payments to the United States. We actually do pretty well off that, plus the intelligence sharing. It's one of the few countries we actually get something back in return for giving aid for. So that's a plus. You know Operation Midnight Hammer, where we sent those B-2 bombers over Iran and took out their Fordo nuclear facility? The reason we were able to do that is because Israel took out all the Iranian defenses, laying the groundwork for the U.S. Was it a cool operation that those bombers flew the other way around the world so nobody would know where they were coming for? Absolutely. But you know who took out all their defenses? Israel, working together. That's incredible. It reminds me of that video that came out years ago. It was if World War I was a bar fight. And what happens, you got these guys wearing like soccer jerseys and they're in the bar for each of the countries and they're all fighting with each other. And you got Germany fighting with France and you got everybody fighting with each other. And then when the war's over, when the bar fight's over, America comes in. The guy wearing the America jersey comes in, grabs a chair, hits Germany over the head with it and goes, I won. That's basically what happened with Operation Midnight Hammer. Look, the U.S. has the technology to take out those nuclear facilities. Why did they develop that technology? Specifically to go after Iran, because they know Iran is such a threat. And that stuff wasn't developed now. It was developed years and years ago because Iran has been a threat for such a long time. Israel did most of the work for us, for the U.S., and then the U.S. came in and delivered the final crippling blow. So what's happening right now is President Trump has kind of boxed himself into a corner a little bit. Why? He said, all right, well, they're still not giving up, and we flattened their nuclear facilities, so I'm going to start taking their oil. Good. I think you should do that. Start taking Venezuela's oil. Good. I think you should do that. So what happens? The Iranian economy, what was left of it, completely tanks. There's nothing left to it. Their, what is it, the rial? I think that's their currency, the rial. Yeah, the rial is worth like nothing. It's not, oh, it's worth a penny and you take 100 rials and they equal $1. No, you need something like 1 million rials to equal, I don't know, $1. Maybe 2 million rials, and then you get $1. Their currency is worthless, completely worthless. So what happens? Their people go and start rioting, protesting in the streets, and then Iran starts killing all the protesters. By last count, it was somewhere between 30 and 40,000 protesters that Iran has killed in the streets. And President Trump said, I'm going to go get your back. We're going to have your back. Well, now he's got to get the back because he promised he was going to do something about it. So over the past few weeks, since these riots really got out of hand where you start seeing Iran really cracking down on the protesters, the U.S. has been sending gear and gear and gear and gear to the Middle East and been staging and staging and staging. And people say, oh my God, are there going to be boots on the ground? Now, something interesting about what I've seen, I don't see boots on the ground. What do I see being shipped out to the Middle East? The Gerald Ford Carrier Group. There's now 2 carrier groups out there. You've got the Ford, and I think the other one's the Eisenhower. They're out there right now. You've got those 2 out there. Why are they out there right now? Because they plan to bomb. That doesn't mean U.S. boots on the ground. Notice I said tanker after tanker after tanker, not cargo plane after cargo plane after cargo plane at Ben Gurion Airport. Cargo planes mean tanks. Cargo planes mean men. Tankers mean we plan on flying a lot of bombing runs over Iran. And this is what Trump does. Trump threatens you and bullies you and does all that until you come to a deal. And he's saying to Iran, we are at your doorstep with the most powerful military ever on the face of the earth. You really want to mess with us? And Iran still walked away from the negotiating table. Still walked away. So the question is now, would you support massive bombardment of Iran to help out the protesters in Iran because they've been executed, to overthrow the Ayatollah? Would you support some mission like what we did with Maduro, going in, getting the Ayatollah, because that guy's guilty of a whole bunch of war crimes? Or do you not want to get involved at all? Iran is a threat to the United States of America and our allies. There is this crazy nonsense online spewed by people like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, who say, oh, he's going to get us dragged into a war, but they won't say President Trump. Why are we fighting a war for Israel? Israel is forcing President Trump to go to war. Okay, nobody forces Donald Trump to do anything. You're going to tell me that the mightiest military on this planet, run by the most powerful person on this planet, is being bullied by a state the size of New Jersey with 6 million people in it? No, I don't think so. There is no credibility to that whatsoever. And if that was accurate, what these people are insinuating is that President Trump is beholden to anybody? Give me a break. You guys are cowards for not coming out and saying it. You guys think President Trump is a wuss, but you're afraid of losing access, Tucker Carlson, so you don't want to actually say it. That's what you're saying without saying. Why can't you just be brave and say it if that's what you actually think? Oh, you're worried about losing access? I think Tucker Carlson's been called to the White House a few times for President Trump to have a meeting with him in the principal's office saying, dude, can you cool it? Can you cool it? What are you actually insinuating here? The conspiracy theories I'm seeing online, anytime I mention this stuff whatsoever, the Candace bots, the Tucker bots, come after my social media accounts. I can handle it. It's more engagement for me. But that's what they're doing, coming after it, coming after it, coming after it. It's crazy. It pays to traffic in these conspiracy theories. It really, really does. It's bonkers crazy. You see this latest video out of Tyler Oliveira? Tyler Oliveira is a big YouTube guy. He did this thing where he claims he's exposing fraud in the Jewish community in New Jersey. I don't see any actual fraud. What he's showing is that there's a whole bunch of families that are on welfare out there in New Jersey, and he's trying to link that somehow to fraud. I don't see 29 million phantom meals being served like in the Somalian community. Do we have a welfare problem? Absolutely. I think we should address it right now. And if there's any fraud, I think we should address it right now. But he saw he could get clicks off the same people that are giving clicks to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and anybody else. So now he's doubling down and starting to use their insane, unhinged rhetoric. Do I think he's an anti-Semite? No, I think he's an influencer. And influencers do things for clicks. So when you see people saying, are we going to war with Iran? Donald Trump's going to get us into a war with Iran. I do love people like Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks and Anna Kasparian, who are like, oh, this is all Israel's fault. How is this Israel's fault? If you have a reason why it's Israel's fault, give us a call at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Over on the Warrior Injury Law studio line, text line 360 says, absolutely, bomb, 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 Iran. There you go. John in Lakewood says, it's not boots on the ground, it's smoke in the water. There you go. That's one here. All right, this is another one here. Rob in Lakewood. Bomb, 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 Iran with ballistic missiles. This seems to be the universal opinion we're getting over here. This one from Becky in Enumclaw. Okay, not a dude. Becky in Enumclaw. Lady, let's take the women's vote for a second here. I would support a mission to bomb Iran and help the people, those poor protesters. There you go. Exactly right. Exactly right. But this whole conspiracy theory of somehow this is Israel's fault? Give me a break. We go to the Warrior Injury Law studio line, take a call from Greg in Everett. Greg, what's going on?
Hey, Ari, how are you doing?
Good. What's up, man?
Hey, if you want to find out if we're going to attack Iran, remember a while back when they were tracking pizza deliveries to the Pentagon?
Yeah. You know what the problem has been? Is the pizza sales thing hasn't been entirely accurate recently. I just wonder if they're just working a lot of late nights because there have been some spikes in the pizza sales and then nothing happens.
Oh, I don't know if the Iranians are calling Pizza Hut there and saying, hey, you saw the increases in delivery?
You think it's a trick? Like, oh, somebody just ordered 100 pizzas to the Pentagon, now they got to pay for it? You think it's something like that?
No,
let's mess with everybody?
No, I'm just figuring that's Iranian intelligence is called Pizza Hut. Yeah.
You know, my son told me, actually, my son was telling me that on his base, they get so many food deliveries to the base that people are trying to do the same thing with the Israeli army. Oh, my God, they're getting all these food deliveries to the base. They must be there. No, it's a bunch of 20-somethings that are hungry and don't like army food. So they're all having the food delivery app send it to them, but they were worried about people making the conspiracy stuff like with the pizza stuff. Funny stuff.
Yeah,
Funny stuff.
I was just hearing about the increase in deliveries. So I was just putting that in your brain.
I'll tell you what. I think over the weekend we're probably going to do it from the videos I've seen. But the question is, does Iran get scared? Iran are the masters of stalling, and it seems like they've done a good job stalling. But when you hear that Kushner and Witkoff and everybody else left Iran, I think we're probably going to see something this weekend. That would be my guess. Greg, appreciate the – oh, go ahead. Yeah, what's up?
Okay, no problem. No, I was just going to say, do you think there's some CIA-funded Iranian group that – we'll go in and take them out once we take all the peripheral stuff out?
Well, let's remember what happened last time. Israel somehow managed to sneak a drone operating base into Iran. Some of those missions were launched from Iran. So who knows what we have on the ground there already. Something to think about, Greg. Appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, give us a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Jeffrey in Tacoma says, where are the leftists for a free Iran, right? I don't hear them sticking up for any of those protesters, do we now? No, of course not. We go back to the Warrior Injury Law studio line, take a call from Paul in Bonnie Lake. Paul, what's up, man?
Ari, thank you for taking my call. Two disparate subjects. I'll be really quick. You were talking earlier about Comcast. I grew up in the south side of Chicago, CBS, ABC, NBC, and WGN. When we moved out to Washington State, Comcast was heaven, absolute heaven. And I think it's superior to the streaming services. That's just my opinion. I've got it for the internet and cable and a landline.
I have no problem with Comcast. Let me be clear, Paul. I have no problem with Comcast. I use them for internet. I got no issue with Comcast whatsoever. My issue is, why am I paying for all these channels I don't watch? That's my issue. Okay. That's my thing.
That's fine.
The last time I watched actual terrestrial TV was the Super Bowl. And I can't remember the time before that, except for maybe the inauguration when we were in that bar, Kevin. I think that might be the last time I was watching actual TV that wasn't streaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul, one more thing.
Yeah.
One more thing. Can I do it?
Yeah, go.
Okay. It is time to clean up Jimmy Carter's messes.
I like that.
Jimmy
You're 100%
Carter,
right.
Please listen, just a second. Jimmy Carter was a vile anti-Semite. He hated the Jews. He was a liar. He was what they call a Christian with replacement theology. He hated the Jews. I have no respect for Carter. And the messes he left, I went to undergrad and grad school in the 70s. I watched almost every night the Iranian hostage crisis on TV. I was in graduate school, and that had a huge impact on me. It's one of the reasons I went into the military, to make a difference. When Ronald Reagan said, "So help me God," he cleaned up a majority of the messes from the 70s. He had bigger fish to fry. It's now time to eradicate any legacy of Jimmy Carter, and a vile, evil man.
I completely agree. And thank you for your service. It kind of feels like we're watching the 1970s in reverse. I kind of like that, undoing everything Jimmy Carter did. And I got to say, the gold medal Olympic U.S. team around the same time, that's just the chef's kiss on all of this. Really, really is. Paul, I appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, you give us a call or text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. When we come back, my friends, the left is going nuts over cameras. Flock cameras. We don't want to have police officers or cameras to replace the police officers. We don't want law and order at all. I'll tell you what they're up to when we come back. You'll listen to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Miseducation is right. I'm just looking at the text line right here. I could tell who got a good education from whatever school they went to, be it public or private, and who got a bad education because so many people really resonated with Paul from Bonnie Lake's point about undoing Jimmy Carter's legacy, about President Trump continuing what Ronald Reagan was doing. I'm seeing a lot of that on the text line right now. Really. Here's one from Bonnie. Bonnie says 47 years of terror meet the 47th president. Let's see how this plays out, which, hey, that's great. This one here, I can tell this person didn't quite get the best education. Hey, Ari, you are a complete tool. You produce more crap than those bloggers you whine about combined. I've often joked, you know what we should do? We should set up the Hate Hoffman hotline. We just have an answering machine or a voicemail, whatever it is. Answering machine, man, how old am I? We just set up a voicemail, and what'll happen is people just call and cuss me out. How about we just put that out there? You hate Ari Hoffman, you just call this random number, and you get to do that too. This one here, Bonnie added this. Same Bonnie. Okay. Bonnie says, hey, Ari, this is not Israel's fault, but it's up to Israel, and with the help from the USA, to end the nightmare that's been plaguing the Middle East for 47 years. Yeah, exactly right. This one here, Barb says, if President Trump promises he'll do it, we need to back him. He has our best interests at heart. Yep, that's good. Pam in Lake Stevens says, yeah, do something. If Iran won't agree to disarm, let us continue to verify. You know, Pam, I think we need an up-close look at that verification process, don't you? No, text you 6 numbers, and then you text us back to verify you don't have nuclear weapons. No. I say we look at it. This one here from Eben in Bonnie Lake. Wow, a lot of people in Bonnie Lake today. Ari, I'm so tired of all the terrorism crap. I say we invade Iran, take it over, make it a U.S. territory, and that way we know the problem is finally solved for good. I say we just send in G.I. Joe and get their oil. Wait a second. Wasn't that our oil, which they nationalized? Yeah, pretty sure that's exactly what it was. Switching gears for a minute over here to something happening a whole lot closer to home. And if you want to keep weighing in on this, you give us a call or text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. On Monday, the Linwood City Council voted unanimously to terminate its contract with Flock Safety, the company that operates automated license plate readers cameras, after concerns the system was used for immigration enforcement. According to Como News, 25 cameras installed near busy intersections have been turned off for months after questions arose about whether the system has been accessed for immigration-related searches. The city attorney said Monday the cameras will be removed, although no timeline was provided. So I got a question. Wasn't one of the arguments behind getting rid of the police, defunding the police? Oh, we're going to replace them with cameras. We're going to do that. Oh, wait, we don't want high-speed chases anymore. Why have high-speed chases? Let's just use the cameras, track where the person goes. That's what we're going to do. I mocked it heavily at the time. It's been somewhat effective, but now, the second you think ICE is using your camera system, now they're saying, no. Can't have that federal government doing it at all. You know, it's funny to me. You didn't have a problem when Joe Biden was in charge of the federal government. Didn't have an issue back then. We have to protect the illegal aliens that are here, and we also have to make sure people are at risk from the criminals. Give me a break. This is absolute nonsense. Seattle's considering this too. Flock may lose all their contracts from all the woke municipalities here in Washington because of this insanity. This is really, really crazy how unhinged they have gotten, which just shows exactly what President Trump demonstrated the other night when the Democrats refused to stand for protecting American citizens and prioritizing them over illegal aliens. There's your campaign promise again. Watch. Here's how I'm going to make this local. Let's do local races against local legislators that said, oh, we don't want the flock cameras. Local municipalities said, we don't want the flock cameras. Run that commercial. Back to get back with the local official. You run that video from State of the Union, run that local official, boom. That's it. Any common sense person will vote against that person. You say, Ari, it's Washington. There's not that many common sense people left. We need to focus. We need to drill down on these races. And I think once they pass the income tax, that's what you go at all of them with. This person voted to tax your income. This person did it. Show them how unpopular it is. I think it's a winning issue. We go to the Warrior Injury Law Studio line. Take a call from Bruce and Edmonds. Bruce, what's going on?
Hey, Ari, great show, man.
Thank you.
Hey, I just want to say I would support the flock cameras if all they were doing was helping law enforcement track down violent criminals. But that's not what they do. If the police, for instance, if they uploaded a list of all the license plates that they were looking for, and every time one of those came by, they got a little ping, that's a great thing. But that's not what the flock cameras do. The flock cameras make a database of every single license plate that goes by, and they have facial recognition cameras that recognize the face of the driver. It's an unconstitutional anti-Fourth Amendment thing, and we have to be able to hunt down criminals without violating the thing that makes America great in the first place, which is the Bill of Rights.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Bruce, at all. You're not wrong. But here's the problem I'm having, and I think this debate is going to go far beyond our phone conversation. In fact, I bet there's a bunch of people that just cheered that you called to challenge me on this, right? So here's the issue. Let's take a city like Seattle, okay? Seattle, they were at below safe operating levels before the massive exodus, before the summer of love. Now they're even lower than that. We haven't had this few police officers since the 1950s, and our city's significantly bigger than then. Now they don't want to use the camera systems. So you don't have police officers. You don't have the camera systems. I'm not disagreeing with you in any way, shape, or form. But now here's something to think about. We willingly become part of the Ring doorbell system. We willingly become part of so many other camera systems. Private companies are doing the exact same thing. Shouldn't we just say, okay, how do we change regulations, or how do we change opt-ins, buyouts, warrants, whatever the case may be, and that's how the government accesses the system? Wouldn't that be an easier way to do it? Or do you just say, no, can't do it at all?
Well, so you're absolutely right. The left is being totally hypocritical about this issue, and we ought to call them out on that. I love the fact that you're doing that. Now, when my wife asked for a Ring camera, I said no. So we don't have a Ring camera because I knew that the corporations were going to be selling our data, and they're not just selling them to other marketers. The corporations are selling data to the government.
Sure. Absolutely.
There was this recent remember the Super Bowl ad where they were saying, "Oh, we're going to look for puppies."
Yeah. Oh, they
weren't.
It destroyed the company. Amazon had to issue press releases about it. It was so bad. So then here's something else.
Could see.
Let's use a perfect example. Nancy Guthrie, right? That one right now, there's not enough cameras, and they can't find out what's going on. Appreciate the call, Bruce. Appreciate you being part of the show, but we got to run. When we come back, my friends, Brandy Cruz joins us with the latest insanity from the legislature. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI.